Charles, us down. You being a good girl, okay? All right, so we in Leviticus 1, Leviticus 23. Let's read verses 1 through 2.
And the Lord spake unto Mashah, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
So those holy convocations, of course, is Makara'aya chodesh, which means that which is called or announced out and set apart. So these are days that we're supposed to get together that are set apart from other days. That are not common days. Okay, go ahead.
Even these are my feasts.
Even these are my feasts. Now, when he says the word feast right there, the same word that he used here for feast is mawa'id. The same thing we see back in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. Let the firmament, the lights that's in the heavens be for signs, seasons, days, and years. Right? So these signs, seasons, days, and years, he uses, and he says these are going to be determined by the firmament in the heavens, which is talking about the 12 constellations. So when he gives us the 12 constellations and tells us to use them for signs, seasons, days, and years, and then he gives us Leviticus chapter 23 and tells us that these are his feasts, we have to use what? Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. We got to use the constellations that he put up there, that the lights in the firmament, independent of the moon and the sun and the other stars he created. We have to use the firmament, the lights, the circle of stars to determine when our mawa'ayim are going to be. Why? Because he told us in Genesis 1:14 to use these for your signs, seasons, your days, and your years. Okay? So he said, use these for your signs, for your seasons, for your days, and for your years. Okay? So he said, use these things to determine what your years are going to be. And when your signs are going to be, and when your seasons are going to be. And when your seasons are going to be. Right, so we have to go back to that. And a lot of brothers, we just, looking at the moon. But you just can't look at the moon to determine, when these days are going to be. Because like we saw from the example earlier, if you only use the moon to determine when the days are going to be, you're going to end up keeping Passover in the 11th month if you're not looking at the constellations. So Yahawah said, what's that, 1 Corinthians, is that 14:54? Is that it? I'm going to go to that real quick. 1 Corinthians, was it 14? 14:54? Is that it? Well, 14:40. 14:40. I'm going to let him get settled a little bit first. He said, let all things be done. Everybody know the rest, right? Decently and in order. So, Yahawah told us in 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse, was it 47? Verse 46, he said he gave them their order. So we're going to get these holidays and holy days down by the moon. We have to know what is the order and the structure that we're going off of. In other words, if you take away the observatory, but you have a knowledge of the constellation of what's going to be when and where, but you don't know when the new moon, quote unquote, is going to be, you can look at the constellation, the position of the star, and the position of the moon, and know, oh, we got a new moon coming up. Because everything is connected, it's interrelated, but it gets a lot deeper than what we know about right now because we're not astronomers. We don't know about those deep sciences like that. We just not even scraping the surface. Okay, so go ahead.
6 days, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Shabbat.
So now, Looking at Genesis chapter 23, verse 3, he says, 6 days I want y'all to do work. Now, what's he basing this on? He's basing this on his example that he gave us, right? An example that he gave us was, look, light, dark, light, one day. Dark, light, day 2. Dark, light, day 3. When he made the moon on the 4th day, light, dark, 4th day. 3 days later, boom, chill out, I'm gonna rest. So we can't go away from the model that Yahawah has given us. But we don't know nothing else. We know the example he gave us was to count the light and the darkness, to count our days. And then the 7th day, like he said, he's going to rest. Okay? So he said the 7th day that he was going to rest. Right? So now the 7th day that he rested, he said what? He said, I'm going to rest today. But he was resting from when? Day 1. He was counting his 7 days from day 1. So when someone comes and says, oh, we're supposed to use the new moon to determine when the Sabbath is going to be, I got to question that brother and sister and say, well, that ain't what Yahawah used. Yahawah used 7 periods of light and dark, independent of the moon, because he created the moon on the 4th day. So if Yahawah was using the moon to determine the Sabbath, when he created the moon on the 4th day, there would have been a Sabbath 7 days later. Okay? Which would have been 11 days after he started his creation. But instead we have it 6 days after his creation started. Boom, this day 7, I'm going to stop and rest. He gives us the model. So if we see a scripture that shows the Sabbath and the new moon together, that's independent of when we determine our Sabbath. Yeah, they're going to be together because the new moon is a holy day also. He told us to sanctify that, to keep that holy also. Their special offering. We're going to go before him and worship him on the new moon. We're going to show scriptures on that. But that's different than the Sabbath. The new moon is a type of Sabbath, but it is not the weekly Shabbat. Okay? Matter of fact, the Hebrew word for week itself means 7. The word week means 7. Okay? So now from there, let's go to as a matter of fact, so we see the Sabbath is the first one. Okay? Let's read, we're cool on that one. Let's go to 1 Samuel 20 and 5. And start reading that, please. Now this is when David, remember when Saul was trying to kill David, and Jonathan and David were out off in the cut, and they were trying to get together and figure out how they could resolve this problem the wad was having with Saul. So he said, well, tomorrow is going to be the new moon, and I got to go and, have dinner with y'all. Maybe he wanted his own chair.